Greetings. Today I will make a board. That's not very common on the channel. I do make quite a lot of terrain actually. I just never put it on the channel for some reason. I don't know why. But today I will, because there is this painting challenge by Tabletop Impulse, and I want to enter a board because I need one done by the weekend. So it will be a sort of win-win situation. And since it has to be done by weekend, I have to be quite pragmatic about it. Usually I take a lot of time to think about all the little features and modularity, and especially storage. Something that I think a lot about that not many people seem to care about is actually how you store your stuff. But this time it needs to be done. Therefore I will just do like everyone else, relax and just, like build whatever. Not thinking too much about storage, thinking a little bit about modularity but not too much, and just go for it. Let's see what happens. So I got this old board, well, at least the material for an old board. It was supposed to be a kill team board, full of trenches and whatnot, cool features. That's why I had the elevation here, boards instead of just flat terrain. But it was, the thought was to make it so awesome that it actually never materialized. But now I do need a board done by this weekend. So the idea is to combine all this material together with these houses that were built for another board that are really simple. I realized that it might be a bit confusing, what kind of board am I making here? It looks like a Mordheim board, but it's too small. It is actually an Ymborg board, which is a game that's not yet been released, so it's not very strange that you have not heard about it. But to give the 2-second summary, it's pretty much Kill Team Mordheim. There are a lot of other differences as well. It's not a flat copy of either rule set, but when it comes to things that are of essence, when it comes to board building, it is played on a 22 by 30 fancy board, preferably with Mordheim vibes. And the whole game is actually it can be played in actual 3D rather than the Kill Team 2.5D. But that's the board stuff, let's get back to building it. And combining these with the actual board made from the bits here, so that would make a board by the end of this week. I hope it works out. Regarding a board like this, there are plenty of things to say. What materials to use, and how do you attach the cork bits, and why do I use cork bits, and what should be the color of the water, and the stairs, should it be playable, or should I aim for realistic or looking nice or whatever. And there are so many things to say here that it would make such a long video that I would not even watch it myself. And therefore I will today just tell you the plan, and then I will just highlight a few things. And if you have some sort of interest in one of these bits, just put it in the comments, and it might appear in a future video. Who knows? So with that said, here's the plan. As it all needs to be done by this weekend, the plan is quite simple. I will take the previously cut bits, and sometimes, like this, gluing them together to make larger bits, because one major lesson from that board, that could make an entire video in itself, is that a more modular board does not mean a better board. So they're combined into reasonably large bits, so large that you actually can use them for something. And well, then I'll take them and carve water features like this, and also make sockets for the buildings, and then cover up the rest in just this cork to make some little cobblestones, and just making sure that you get the same sort of distance to the edges all the time, so that they will be modular. And that's pretty much it. EPS, expanded polystyrene. Avoid it. Once it gets covered in paint, it's pretty decent, but during work it just gets everywhere. And yeah, it's just annoying. As said, avoid it. As previously stated, modularity could be an entire video in itself, but the short version is that modularity is best at the middle ground. The material for the board included many small bits and even some tiny ones. They were meant to make this board, like awesomely modular. A pragmatic solution was to simply merge most of these tiny bits into an extra large one. Now they will instead make an awesome hill. Just doing stuff, not caring too much about the intermediate result, is just so liberating. You just add something, and if you don't like it, just remove it. Most of the time it will turn out pretty nice, but if it doesn't, just hack and slash and start over. It's not the end of the world. And it's just awesome, and you get things done. The entire shed is a proper mess. Such is life when you have to do things in a hurry. But the final result is actually here. Once they're all covered in some kind of decent surface, you just prime them like any other miniature. It's just like a larger scale. I never thought I would get an airbrush, but I actually did. Not for miniatures though. I got this like really sleek model here with a 1.4 nozzle. Yes, not 0.4, it's a 1.4 nozzle for things around the house. Household needs. And I just realized that, a board is actually such a large thing that you can actually use this brush for it. I don't think I'm going to do any miniatures with this one because it's kind of rough. When they're all primed, then you just zenithal with a medium gray and dry brush with a bright gray. And if you don't have an airbrush, you just, dry brush with medium gray and then with bright gray. Just like any other miniature. All, again, it's just a different scale. And if you just aim for the game night ready, all you need now is to add a few splashes of actual color, like the water. For blue, water, I just mixed up this blue and with some black that was already in the brush here. I have no idea. I think it was kind of nice. Don't ask me for the recipe because it's basically whatever was in this brush together with a bit of bright blue. I hope it will turn out nice. Let's see if it does. Let's see. Yes, we can try over here. Does it look like water? Yeah, it will. I think it's good enough. Yeah, already looking like water. Probably should dry brush it in somehow. But that's, another problem. Here we go. Just ignore the utter mess the whole shed is in. The board is actually game night ready. It is not done, by far, but it is, as said, game night ready. This is the sort of, at least a decent coloring and all the bits are there, and perhaps I want to add some better things in the future, like the bridges. They're just sort of temporary things that I made up, but yeah, I think I could really play a game on this one. I really want to play a game on this one, and I think that's the most important thing. It's actually looking quite nice. And now over to some glamour shots. So today's conclusion is actually pretty simple. If you want to get things done, the best way is to do stuff. This board has been sitting in my shed for more than 2 years, just waiting for this ultimate build to happen. And during this entire period, it did not happen. But now, when I decided to go for, you know, just game ready, it went from pile of shame to ready to play within 1 week. By the time of this recording, I actually already used it twice. And there are 2 major issues that I have to fix, I think. And there are a lot of small minor improvements that could be done. But I do know of these because the board exists in real life and I can use it. As previously stated, there are a lot of things to say about a board like this in general and about this board in particular. But for now, I will just concentrate on fixing this one major issue that I found, and probably also ramp up the skulls a bit. I mean, right now this board is just too clean to play a Descendant of Mordheim on. But that will be fun, and that's the most important thing, you know? Don't forget to enjoy your hobby.